Full time from Stamford Bridge this evening in my match reaction. You're watching TOON TV. Chelsea 2, Newcastle United 0. First of all, congratulations to Chelsea on the result. You deserved the 3 points tonight. I don't have any complaints. You had a game plan, you stuck to it, you've got the quality, and you played us off the park. From a TOON fan's perspective, well, listen, we didn't have a game plan at all. And if we did have a game plan, what was it? Because that first half was a defensive clusterfuck. Chelsea owned us on that pitch first half. We had no answers. We had no idea what to do. Dwight Gale, as expected, he started the game. There was no service to Almiron or Dwight Gale or to ASM or to anyone. And when we did look like going forward in that first half, the ball just kept going backwards. Chelsea were on fire. They were fantastic. They just kept passing through us like we weren't even there. And they had so many chances, to really kill off the game in the first 45 minutes. The game was done, I would say, after they scored their second one. And can I blame Steve Bruce for the defeat tonight? No, I can't, because he went 4-2-3-1. He went for it. But when you play that formation, you've got to have a game plan in terms of you defend, but you also look like you want to attack. And the team was right tonight. We had the players out that could have really got at Chelsea and caused them a few scares, but we didn't. We're too nervous. And you can't afford to be nervous against the top 6 sides. Chelsea knew going into this game tonight, they were going for the top 4 because West Ham had won earlier on in the evening. And the TOON, well, we are in big trouble. We are now 7 points clear of the relegation zone with Fulham beating Everton the day before. And yes, don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting anything from the game. If anything, a draw, to be realistic. But we haven't won at Stamford Bridge since, was it 9 years ago, Alan Pardew? I wasn't expecting much to change tonight. And we can't use the excuse that, Callum Wilson wasn't playing, so that's the reason we lost. There's more than enough quality to have actually tried tonight, to have actually done something. First half alone, really bad. Second half was so much better in terms of the intensity was there. We were getting into the Chelsea faces. We had a couple of quick, shots on target, but then Chelsea grew back into the game. And then towards the end, Steve Bruce, he made his subs, but listen, it was a little too late. Chelsea, for me, had the game won in the first 45 minutes. A space of 9 minutes where Chelsea got 2 quick-fire goals, game was done. And that's all it takes, for these best sides to really get at you. Just 2 moments of lapses of concentration and Chelsea, score 2 goals and we've paid the punishment and we've paid the penalty for it. And Chelsea, listen, they took the advantage and, they really got at us. That first half alone, Chelsea, right, could have been 5, 6, 7 up. That many chances. I have to point the fingers at Emil Kraft and Jamal Lascelles for both goals. What were they doing, man? Awful defending. It really was. I mean, Emil Kraft for the first goal. For me, he's got to put a challenge in. Rather than just keep backtracking. Werner squares it across too easy. Jamal Lascelles, okay, it comes off him, but, you're meant to be the captain. But what do? The ball ricochets off you and Chelsea get the second. And when the ball does go in the back of the net at 2-0 down, your head's down. You're meant to be the captain. You're meant to be G'ing everyone up. The quicker we get rid of you in the summer, the better. Honestly, you're not the same player that you were 2 years ago. But as to say for Chelsea, you were fantastic. I take nothing away from, your performance. You totally outplayed us tonight. And if it wasn't for, a second half better performance, it could have been a real disaster. It really could have been. Some of the notes that I'd taken before I wrap up, well, I'll read out the team lineup. It was a 4-2-3-1. Steve Bruce went with Carl Darlow and net. Jamal Lewis was at left back. Right back was Emil Kraft. Then the 2 centre-backs were Jamal Lascelles, Kieran Clark. Then the 2 CDMs were Isaac Hayden and John Joe Shelby. Then the 3 further forward were Almiron, Alan St. Maximin and Joe Willock, and up front, Dwight Gale. So going into the game, I was expecting a high intensity start. Didn't see it. Darlow had to tip over from a Chelsea corner. And then Jamal Lascelles had to really dig in deep where a ball went over the top. It beat our defence. Abraham was going one-on-one with Darlow and Jamal Lascelles. I don't know how he does it, but it's a last-ditch tackle. Brilliant tackle by the captain. This is at 0-0. And yeah, he catches Abraham as well. It's an unfortunate injury. Jamal Lascelles doesn't mean any of it. And unfortunately, he can't carry on. It's an escape for us, really. I'm sure they were looking at VR for a possible penalty. For me, it wasn't. And yeah, like, we get away with it. And Giroud then replaces Abraham. And it doesn't take long for Giroud to put the ball into the back of the net. 31 minutes in, and let's be honest, the goal was coming. Chelsea peppered our defence. And it comes down our right-hand side. Emil Kraft was the closest to Werner. He just lets Werner get at him. And he's just skimmed. Werner squares it across. Darlow, he tries, he palms it right in front of Giroud. He can't miss. He smashes it in, and it's 1-0 Chelsea. And for me, I think it's game over. Because we just did not look like a threat. And Chelsea, for me, they deserved that. They really did. For the way they just went at us, with their quality. And we just couldn't live with them at the best of times. And then 39 minutes in, Chelsea go and double their lead through Timo Werner. There was a silly stat going around that it'd taken only 100 days for Werner to score, his next goal. And trust it to be us. 100 days since his last goal. Newcastle come calling and he scores. And to be fair, the lad played really well tonight. And he took his goal really well. It was from a set piece. Ball comes in, takes a ricochet off Jamal Lascelles. Defensively, we're all over the place. An absolute clusterfuck. And it's an easy tap in for Timo Werner. And let's be honest, before he scored his first goal in 100 days to make it 2-0 to Chelsea, Werner missed a big chance. It was, I don't know how he missed. He skied it over from close range. Only Darlow to beat, puts it wide. But he had so many chances in the game. Not just in the first half, but in the second half. He was a real threat. And he has to be the man of the match for me. He worked ever so hard. And Chelsea, they go into the break. 2-0, we're 2-0 down, and something has got to give second half. For me, it's not about the result at this point. It's about being more united and trying to have a go with a bit more intensity. And we've got that. I have to give the lads credit for that, for actually getting to Chelsea and having to go, making a real game of it and putting Chelsea on the back foot. Yes, Chelsea second half had the chances, granted, but we couldn't have been any worse. And Hayden had our first shot on target after 46 minutes, right from kick-off, and it was a good save by Kepa. Nothing to really test him that much. It was a weak effort. John Shelby from a free kick as well, over the wall. Good save by Kepa. It was going in, actually. It was sort of going in bottom left corner. It was a good catch by the goalkeeper. If we got it at 2-1, could have perfect. And yeah, Joe Linton is our first sub. He is on for Dwight Gale. He had a quiet night, unfortunately. Didn't really offer a great deal. At one point in that second half, he was crossing balls into the box. Why? Why is Dwight... We're playing 4-2-3-1. Why is Dwight Gale crossing balls into the box? He's meant to be in the box. Yes, he's a small player, but he's meant to be the striker. He's meant to be the focal point. I don't get it. And then we make our second sub, and Ryan Fraser is on for Alan St-Maximin, who... he was okay. He wasn't fantastic. And yeah, he's off. Andy Carroll also comes on late on. We had some big chances towards the end, but we'll just kind of make them count. And could have been interesting if we got one back. Could have been an interesting, 10, 20 minutes. Fraser puts a ball at the box. Willock gets his head into it, and it's a good save by Kepa. And Chelsea do manage to see the game out at 2-0. I don't have any complaints about the final outcome, but I am concerned about where we stand at the table. We're currently 17th. We have 25 points. Fulham have now 2 games in hand. They're 7 points behind us. They're breathing down our necks. And am I concerned? I am a little bit. Fulham, do I see them catching us? It's possible. They do have a game in midweek against Burnley. And then they have Sheffield United before we play Manchester United at Old Trafford. And they could be 1 point behind us before we, travel to Manchester. And I don't want to see that happen. But listen, I wasn't expecting much from the game tonight. I wouldn't be deluded if I thought we were going to win that, or at least compete with Chelsea. They're a good side, and I wish them well for the rest of the season. They're in the top 4 now, and they responded really well. And like I say, we don't have a good record down there. The first half was not acceptable by any stretch of the imagination, but second half was better. I can't fault the effort. The effort was there. But listen, 2 defensive lapses of concentration has ultimately cost us. And first half, defensive shambles. That's what it was. But we can take some real encouragement from the second half. But we've got it all to do now. And we are in deep, deep trouble. We can't get away from that. Subs, like I say, it is what it is. Chelsea took full control of the game. And listen, I think everyone was expecting it. But we'll move on to Manchester United on Sunday night and we'll go from there. But full time from Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 2, Newcastle United 0. The first half, defensive shambles. See you all later.